Welcome back to Cards and Comics. Today I've got another hobby talk, and today I'm going to give you some of the tips and tricks I have used, and they're kind of common sense, but I want to talk about them. And that's to get a deal at the National. Now, there's no guarantees about deals at the National, but these are the things I've done and things I look for when I think I might be able to either work a deal or at least get someone willing to work with you more often than work against you, because some dealers are just not going to do anything. They're not going to come down at all. And I'll talk about that a little bit and sort of my strategy to try to find deals. And again, be flexible while you're at the National to get good deals. Maybe something you didn't even look for, but maybe it's an opportunity. Before I do that, I got two things I want to talk about. One is I just did a video on my recent PSA sub. Now, that's not the whole sub. I just did the 7 cards I crossed over from CSG to SGC. And again, PSA now has the ability to look at your grades and and get a scan of your card. And so I was able to take those scans and make a video. I received my cards on Saturday. And so I'm going to wait till Tuesday to share them with everyone. I'm going to try to do it live, and that's going to be my goal, is to do it on a live feed. See if that works. So I'll do the full reveal. Now, it's going to be the 7 cards I've already shared. There is another couple vintage cards I believe that aren't part of that crossover. And then it's going to be mostly Griffey cards and some other cards, either collections or things I was trying to get graded to take with me to the National. So very happy it came back before the National. I was not upcharged anything on this order. If you remember my last PSA order, basically every card I graded they upcharged, and it was at the height of the Marvel Mania, and they really overestimated the value of the Marvel cards that I graded. And I tried to dispute it, and it was very ugly. They did not want to talk about, not charging me what they were wanting. I didn't really talk about it too much at the time, but they were almost kind of threatening in the way that they discussed the upcharges, And I felt like it was a little aggressive. This time around, no upcharges, even though a few of the cards that you'll see, some of them are 101s, of only card graded in that condition. So I have a few cards, I think 2 cards coming back that are the highest ever graded. And they're kind of like 101s, I guess. They're the only one graded that high. And they're the highest graded in existence. So that's kind of cool. So hopefully you guys want to see that. So I'll open that live. And I also, I've been playing a lot more music lately. And, just for fun. I mean, I was in the band, and so I busted out my, my PA that I was using for a vocal PA. So I have it set up now, and so I actually wrote a song today about collecting, and I did the little funny song I was doing with my daughter on error cards, and that was just for kind of funny. And I wrote another song. It's if you write a song about collecting, you can't make them serious. But I wrote another song, and I might sing it or preview it on Tuesday. So Tuesday is my 2-year anniversary, so I'm trying to do some unique things for that. I don't really have anything to open, other than my PSA order. So hopefully you guys want to see that. So I don't know, I might have it recorded by then. My wife and my one daughter are going to Indiana to see their family, see the grandparents. I have to stay. My other daughter is going to camps, and I have to, be with her. And also, I'm going to the National, so I'm taking her with me. So anyone who comes to the National and wants to meet with me or sees me, I'm going to have my daughter with me, and she's 15, so we'll see how she's into it. But I used to set up all the time at Indiana, before I moved here. And my oldest daughter would come to me to most shows. Even when she got older, she liked going to the shows, and the dealers were really nice to her. She would watch, she'd bring like a some DVDs and watch them on my computer. And she'd make a little kids area, like all the other kids that the parents would bring with them would go over and watch Dora or whatever she was watching. And I remember there was a real cool photo that one of the dealers took that they put on, like, I think one of the websites or whatever. But they took a photo of like about 6 kids all watching this movie with my daughter. And so she kind of created this little kids area at the show. And so, she's always come with me to shows. When I set up in Albany at the mall, both my daughters are with me and my wife. So, I've always set up, especially at Comic Cons with my daughters. So they've always been around. They're not collectors. They know what's going on. They like comic books. They like things like that, but they're not like collectors like I am, right? They're just there. They like cool stuff. If they see a T-shirt they like, or if they, see something they think is cool, they'll buy it. But they're not into like buying rookie cards. But it's going to be fun, and I think it'll be cool walking around with her. And I'm going to enjoy the bonding experience with my daughter. Now, the other thing about the video I posted around the CSG to SGC to PSA crossover was, the feedback on it was interesting. I don't know why people just don't want to believe the grading results that I post. So I had another video I posted, like 40 something SGC cards I had crossover over the years. And, and I've done, over 75 SGC vintage cards at PSA. So I have a pretty big sample size and I know what to expect, for the most part. Normally I see a few bumps. I see a few go below and then a few straight crosses, right? This time around you saw no bumps. Everything was flat or below. So that was a little abnormal, especially for some of the cards I thought they're pretty nice. But some of the feedback has been, pretty like aggressive, like that. Like I don't do it right, like you're, like I'm hurting the narrative that SGC grades harder than PSA is basically what I've been told. Same way for CSG. The CSG is a tough grader. They're the toughest grader out there. And I have a card that showed it wasn't. I mean, you damaged it. You didn't use gloves. I mean, I just, the people trying to come up with excuses for the graders. Let's just be honest, guys. The graders are the graders. If I cross those cards back from PSA to SGC, would anyone be surprised if, those SGC cards, if SGC grades those cards differently than they did the first time? I mean, and then you could say, well, they've been handled more often, so now they're damaged. Okay, whatever. But I don't really believe that, and I think it'll be interesting to see because I'm thinking about actually taking 2 of those cards and sending them back to SGC to see what they would actually grade them, because that early win card is definitely a card I feel is undergraded. So I might pop that card and the Ted Simmons rookie and send it back to SGC and see what happens. Who knows? I might get them back in 7s. They come back 6s again from SGC. Who knows? Graders aren't consistent, guys. That's the first thing you got to know. If I send those cards to PSA again, those 2 cards in particular, the ones that came back from 7.5s to 6s, would PSA make them 7s? Maybe. Who knows? If I pay another $18 to $50 on a grading fee and come back and would I get a 7 on one of those cards? Maybe. Is it worth resubmitting over and over? I don't know. I mean, sometimes I know dealers will do that, but it really wasn't. I didn't expect them to be quite that low. So I mean, I'm a little disappointed in those. But I do feel like it's like salt in the wound when I get the angry SGC and CSG guys telling me how I'm doing things wrong and how I'm hurting or creating a false narrative. I'm like, there's no narrative. It is what it is. I don't understand how you can't look at empirical data and say, yes, they overgraded the card. The Hank Aaron card in particular, it was damaged from the moment I got the card. I looked at the card in the holder and I knew it was damaged. I said it in the video. But when I got the card, there was something wrong with it. When I popped it out of the holder, it was a lot worse than I expected, and he got a 6, and it deserved it, honestly. And, they could have gave that card a 5. It maybe even overgraded as a 6. That card had some serious damage to it. So it is what it is. I mean, I don't, it's very difficult for me to understand why so many people are, have to have a narrative that some cards companies grade harder than others. PSA brings more money. They're easier to deal with at shows. They're easier to sell. So that's why I grade with PSA right now. I don't sit down and love PSA. I'm not sponsored by anyone. It's just from a transactional perspective as a dealer and going to shows, it's an easier currency for me to be in. And as soon as CSG or SGC takes over that role, I'll probably go the other way. I'll go the other direction. So, I think people just have to kind of get off of the crusades and just understand, what's happening. And it's not, about people creating narratives. It's just, that's how the grades came out. So going back into what's going on with, the hobby right now, and, I think that, with the National coming up, reports coming out of Dallas, that they thought the show was better than some other shows. And so I think, the National is going to be a grind for some folks in terms of trying to get things done. So I thought I'd come up with a video that goes over some interesting things I've done in the past. And, how I've gotten, a few cool cards in my collection, and how I kind of try to, pay attention to the show and the dealers to really get an idea or create some opportunity. Now, the first thing I would say is, when I go to dealers' tables, you hear this from a lot of people. Look at the pricing, see where they're comped at. And if they're way over comped and not willing to come down, then just walk away. Okay, that's really easy to do, right? But even for dealers who are overpriced, you may have opportunity. So the first thing I would look for when I go to dealer tables now is I look to see like a something that shouldn't be there. So, for example, if I walk up to a dealer, and this happened to me at the 2017 show, I walk up to a dealer and he's got all modern football and high-end inserts, and everything is really high-end modern. And he's got a 53 Mantle, PSA 6.5 tops. I'm like, that shouldn't be there. Like, why is that card there? And so, I had just sold a bunch of cards, and I had, cash. And so I just went up to him and I said, hey, I like the Mantle. What do you want for it? And I could tell immediately that he didn't care about that card. That it was just like, he got it in a trade. He must have got it for a pretty good deal, because he was ready to sell that card immediately. And the first card he pulled out of my box was a 98 SP Peyton Manning rookie, the SP Authentic PSA 8. And I was actually ready to sell that card because I was hoping to get a 9 on the card, and I got an 8. So I thought, well, I'll get an 8. I'll just get a 9 on that card because that's really what I wanted, and trade this guy the 8 on this Mantle. But I could tell immediately he was wanting to do a deal on that Mantle. It didn't fit what he sold. It was not something he cared about, and I got that card, even at that time, for around $2,000 under last sold on BCP. And today, if you look at what that card's worth, it's 3 times what I paid for it. So that is, an example of a way to kind of look at the show in a little different perspective. So yes, I think right now, like, I'll give some examples that I'm going to look for, and you can too, because again, this may or may not happen, but a lot of dealers bought into Marvel cards, F1 cards, tennis cards, celebrity cards, non-sport autos, Right now, what's really hot is Star Wars, right? So you might walk up to one of those tables and they've got, all vintage sports cards and 2 Marvel PMGs sitting there. You know, they may really want to get rid of those Marvel PMGs. Now, you may not want a Marvel PMG, but you still may want to ask about those cards and just see if they're willing to go below comp on those cards. And you might get yourself a good deal. And if those cards rebound, or, who knows, another movie comes out or whatever, okay, you might make some money on those cards. Or if you're a hardcore Marvel PMG guy and you're just looking for good deals, that might be a way to pick those cards up. So that's one thing. The other thing is pay attention to who the dealers are. So there's multiple types of dealers, right? There is dealers who are full-time business dealers. Like they have a button down, they go to all these shows, and I'm talking like the big shows. And, I know a lot of these guys by name, so I've gotten used to who the big guys are. But I'll give you an example. There's a guy out there, 707 Sports Cards. 707, pretty famous dealer. He actually rents cases to the dealers. But he will never come down on his prices. And he's always overpriced for the most part. So if you go to his table, unless you really need a card for a set or you're willing to overpay now so that you think it's going to go up later, that's the dealer for you, right? But if you're looking for deals, I don't even really stop at his table unless I'm looking for something really unique. And then you might have it. And then the more unique it is, he may be priced okay on it, right? But if you're looking for a Mano card, he's going to have every Mano card you want, but you're not going to get a deal. And so knowing that, that kind of dealer exists and who that person is, you can kind of set your expectation of what that dealer is going to do at that show. So these lifelong dealers, these kind of, guys who do this for a living, you're not going to get deals. You're not going to get these guys to come down. They'll just go to the next show. They don't care. They carry inventory. If the inventory goes down in value, they just take a loss. It's a business write-off. They're not going to come at you with some deals. Okay, guys? It's not going to happen. Again, they might be in a card they want to move, but, that's going to be something you're going to have to look and do some digging to see if they have something like that. But for the most part, those are not the dealers that I would be looking to spend a lot of time with if you're looking for deals. What you need to look for are people who are just there on their own. Either they're collector dealers, they're people who are hobbyists, they're more collector than dealer. Those guys, especially in a show where maybe a lot of people are selling versus buying, they are going to be your folks willing to deal. And I'm going to say, like, people like me, when I'm at a show set up, whatever inventory I'm bringing, I'm ready to move. And I want it gone. And I want to sell what I brought because I'm ready to move into other cards. This isn't a business for me. I don't have to go to the next show, the next show, the next show. I set up maybe 3 or 4 times a year. Well, a lot of people go to the National, and that's their only show they go to and set up at. So those kind of dealers are going to be folks that are looking to probably make some deals. Now, the other thing is, and it's one of those like kind of common things that you hear is, last day of the show, they haven't had a good day, they'll sell cheap. Okay, that could be true. And I've had one really awesome deal that was done that way wasn't at a National, but it was at a Chicago Sports Fest. I don't really buy into that too much because, again, depending on what you're trying to get, yeah, you might get 20% off on a card on the last day. I don't think that's just an awesome deal. It's like, that's a reason to stick around to 5 o'clock on a Sunday or 3 o'clock whenever the show ends. But, there is the idea that if the show is really bad, let's say it's Saturday and it's getting ready to close, and one of the things I always do is I walk around the show and ask dealers how it's going. And you got to ask both the big time dealers and the small time dealers, right? How's it going? How have you done? Have you sold anything? Are people buying? Just ask those questions. And if you're overwhelmingly getting the show's been bad, everyone wants to sell, no one's buying, everyone wants to trade, haven't moved anything. That's your game plan for Sunday, right? If everyone's telling you like they're flush with cash, they love it, your game plan for Sunday might be to sell, to bring your collection and sell something because these guys are flush with cash and they're willing to buy. But if they've all told you how terrible their day is on Saturday and the show's been pretty bad, Sunday could be your day to make some deals, right? And that's where I'd say, but don't go into that room on Sunday cold. Have some idea how things have gone. And again, stake out the cards that you're looking for at the tables you want and the tables you think have good deals or have dealers willing to work with you. So that Sunday you're very focused. I have always said that, when I go to these shows, and this time around, my daughter's coming back from camp on a Friday. So I can't go down there for a Friday and actually probably get to the show. So I'm only going to have Saturday and Sunday. So my whole day Saturday is going to be staking out the show. There's always going to be meeting people and talking, but then staking out the dealers, finding the cards I may want to look at, maybe making some deals on Saturday, selling some inventory, but really knowing that Sunday that, there's going to be maybe some deals and some cards I'm going to go back for and try again and see if something can get done. And use that Sunday as kind of like, like I said, read the room, understand what the temperature is and what you're going to do. That is, the way to kind of navigate those days and make them very useful. So on Sunday, again, you should be like in there with the either it's probably going to be a sell day, sell my stuff, make some trades, or, this could be a good buying day. Now, at the end of the day, it depends on what you're going for, right? If you're in there looking for the hottest of the hot cards, I remember 2017 when it was Aaron Judge, it was like, you're not going to make any deals with anyone on Aaron Judge because he's the hottest of the hot. Going into this show, there's a few players hot right now, on the rookie side. You got the quarterbacks, you got Josh Allen. I think Mahomes is kind of heating back up again a little bit. Who knows, right? Whoever's really hot to the show, there's always, this happens every year. There's always 4 or 5 dudes at the show that are, just chasing. I'm talking about dealers, really chasing somebody, and then the show kind of turns into looking for those one guys. And if you have them, you're going to do well. If you don't have them, it's going to be like, well, do you have them? It's going to be, every other dealer is going to ask you, do you have these, 4 or 5 guys? But yeah, and so, but looking to see what, I call like, looking at someone's table and saying, does this belong there? Like, does this make sense for this dealer to have this card? That is going to be your first clue that maybe that's something you can trade for. And again, it may not be something you really, really want, but it might be something you can pick up at a deal and then move it or trade it to someone else. And again, that's a good way of taking what's there at the show offered to you in a way to create some deals and some opportunities for yourself. So, that's my advice. Again, I'm going to be there for two days. I'm going to stay Friday night and Saturday night. Come home Sunday. And I just, I definitely want to meet folks. Hopefully Saturday night will be fun at the show. Hopefully I get there Friday in time to do some trading or something on Friday night. Go out to dinner, do some trading, hanging out with some folks. And then Saturday I can really hit it hard. Hopefully, it'll be fun, and, being there with my daughter will be pretty awesome as well. So, but that's it, guys. Let me know your thoughts. And again, hopefully you saw my grading video. I probably should have showed the cards again in this video. If you didn't see that video, go back and check my grading video I just posted to see what I was talking about earlier in the video, to get an idea of what I was, talking about with the grading. But hopefully you did. And again, Tuesday, will be my 2-year anniversary. Do some special things for that. Looking forward to that. And see you again. And I'll be posting a few more videos from now and then. I got a major mail day coming up that I'm going to be talking about, specifically around Ken Griffey Jr. So look for that and some more Pirate Collection updates as well. So I'll see you guys again. Hopefully, I'll see you guys at the National coming up pretty soon. And again, See ya. See you next time on Cards and Comics. Bye.